Hello everybody, this is Astocky here, and tonight I am playing Slaves to Amarok, God of Blood, Chapter 2, more commonly just known as Dwarf Fortress. Now, Ryan the Almighty has been doing a Let's Play called Gnomoria, and having a look at Gnomoria, it reminded me of everything that I had heard about this game, which is Dwarf Fortress, including the fact that developer of Minecraft Notch used this as part of his inspiration for Minecraft. So I thought this sounds like a really good game, and I mean Gnomoria looks to be a fantastic game as well, but the thing that drew me to this the most is that it's free. Not only is it a fantastic game, but it's a free fantastic game. So I'm actually playing, you can see in the middle of the screen there, the Lazy Newb Pack, and basically it basically takes the very latest version of Dwarf Fortress and adds a really easy to use GUI to it, adds a bunch of new utilities and things that make it really easy to use. But basically this game is just incredibly complex and incredibly powerful, and there is just so much that you can do in it. So what I thought that I would do is just basically jump to going with it and sort of showing you guys exactly kind of where the game is, what the game can do, but I'm not going to explain a huge amount of what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of, particularly the intro bit where I'm going to create a new world, because that's a really long bit and there's so much you can do. There are so many options in this game, it's just amazing. So I'm going to try and cover it really quickly. If you guys are interested in seeing some more, let me know and I can do like more of a tutorial style video rather than a kind of a spotlight. But I'm aiming to get this done kind of quickly and just show you what the gameplay is like, and then show you kind of a bit of an intro to what you can expect if you download this and start to play it yourself. So I will be back in just a second, and then I'll start running you through creating a new world. Okay, so here I am, I'm back. So I'm just going to go to create a new world now, and now you have, as you can see, you have lots of different world options. Just to make things a bit quicker, I'm going to pick a 65 by 65 world, but really you can pick a tiny little world because the actual area that you build in is only 4 by 4. So basically the bigger the land map is, the more 4 by 4 squares you have the opportunity to choose from. So I'm just going to go with small because that's plenty. History basically sets how long it takes to generate the world and how many civilizations and different things it generates. I'm going to go with short just to basically speed things up. I'm going to stick most of the things on medium. I'm going to go for very low savagery though. That means that you'll see mainly friendly kinds of animals and you're not likely to get attacked and slaughtered, which, you know, that's a really important thing. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to mineral occurrence and turn that up to frequent, just because that's pretty important. So press the Y key to go. You can see it's now generating the map. Now the basic dwarf fortress that you can get is Astocky, so it's it's very much like Rogue and those other kinds of ASCII oriented games, and I'm using, if we just go to the background here a little bit, I am using a graphics pack called Phobos or Phoebus, depending on how you want to pronounce it, doesn't really matter, and I'm using that because that just makes things much easier. So you can see here, we can see the world, we can have a bit of a jump around and see. So up there's the polar ice caps, lots of foresty, lots of mountains. Each one of these little dude looking things is a dwarven city, and so you can see there are the roads that lead between one and whatever the next thing is, and each of them is named and each of them has their own history. You can see on the left hand side there were 53,860 different events that were created to basically shape the world into what it is now. So I mean, this game just has so much, but I'm just going to press enter and just kind of carry on and just go ahead with it, and then hopefully in not too long you will see that I'm ready for the next step, which is basically to choose where in the world I want to play. So start playing. Now it has 3 modes. Legends basically lets you run through all of that rich history that you created in that 125 years on the map, or if you did one of the, I think it's 1,000 or 2,000 year histories, there would just be so much stuff that you can kind of go through, and I think it's more of a, not so much a gameplay as a just more of a look and feel sort of thing. The next mode is adventurer mode, and basically what adventurer mode is it's very much like a roguelike. You control one dwarf, and your little dwarf dude does whatever you tell him to do, and you can pick up new kinds of parties, you can get different quests and things. It's not really the reason people play Dwarf Fortress, but in itself it's a pretty powerful mode, but the Fortress mode is the main reason why you would play. So I'm going to jump into that. So here you can see 3 different map levels. On the far left hand side you can see the 4x4 area, which is actually where I'm going to be playing. Then in the middle you can see like a semi zoomed out area, and then on the far right hand side you can see a super zoomed out area of the world. So the arrow keys move you around in the middle area, and the right hand side area kind of just shows you where you are. So all those options on the right hand side under where it says Hill of Golfs basically define the different kinds of things that you can get that would tell you whether that's an area that you want to develop in. But basically it adds a find option that lets you pick the different things that you want to try and find, and I'm not going to really explain this. I'm just going to pick the things that I'm looking for in an area, and then we will press enter, and it will now search this area and tell me if it finds anywhere that matches my search criteria. So you can see it looks as though it's found 2. Yep, there are 2 little, oops. So there are 2 little crosses on the major map, which equates to something. Yeah, in this case it equates to 3 dots. So one of them is just here, which is temperate shrubland, and then we have this one just here, which is also a temperate shrubland, and then we have this one here, which is another temperate shrubland. So they're the only areas that match my search criteria. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly, so you can see there I have some soil, shallow metals, deep metals, and fluxstone. If I go up there I also get clay, but I get an aquifer as well, and so I can press F1 and see the different areas. So that is a temperate conifer forest, and there I have temperate shrubland. So the conifer forest has more of the things that I want. Actually there's 3 biomes here. There is also a regular, there are 2 different kinds of conifer forests and a shrubland. So that's, I might move one further down just because aquifers are bad. And so by minimizing the area, actually no, there we go, I've got no aquifers at all, and I've got shallow metals, deep metals, fluxstone, a bit of clay, so that's a pretty good area. Now the next thing that I can do is press tab, which can go through all the different modes. So by having a look at elevation there, you can see there are some areas that have, actually the whole thing is pretty much a high elevation area. At least I think that's what that's showing. Yeah, it's showing it's all very high, but it's also not very flat, which is kind of a bit of a bummer. You can see there that it has lots of 1, which is gentle slopes, and some 3, and then some 4s, which are sort of medium level cliffs. So probably not a really ideal area to go with, but this is just a demo and I'm not trying to explain it too much. I'm just going to press E and embark. So there are my dwarves that I'm going to get. Now basically you can go prepare for this journey carefully, and you can pick from your 7 starting guys exactly every single thing about them, or what you can do is you can just go play now, and so that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to, I just ignore that bit. So what I'm going to really quickly do now is just pause the video, and I will be back in a second. Okay, hello guys, I'm back. Basically the way this is laid out here, on the left hand side you have the local view, in the middle you have the controls, and on the right hand side you have the major view. I'm not super concerned about the major view, so by just pushing tab twice you can get rid of that. The next thing that you can do is you can actually resize this window, which I'm going to do to fit more of the map in. So that's obviously that's kind of ideally what you want. You want to fit as much of the map as you possibly can in. So each one of these little symbols here is my little dwarf. These are like horses, I think these are cats. Basically each thing has a symbol, and if you push K, that little X is where I'm looking at, and you just move the little X over it with your arrow keys, and that is a stray cat. That one just there is a stray horse. That's also a stray horse, so I've got 2 horses, a bunch of cats, and a bunch of different dwarves. Now one of the issues with this game is there is a huge amount of management of people involved, and you can press the U key to bring up your list of units, that tells you what they all are, and then you can go into Unit Manager and try to actually edit them, or you can have a look at each of your bits of livestock and that kind of thing. So let's go Manager, I think it might be. Nope. V for View Creature. She is gigantic, so it's a female. Have a look at this one. He is gigantic. Excellent. So that means I have 2 tame horses, so they're likely to breed. That's a really good thing for this game. But yeah, you have all your dwarves, and you have your big area. But basically, this is the mountain, and so it's a kind of a slice of the world. So by using the greater than and less than sign, you can kind of go up and down and see all the different levels. But we're dwarves, and what do dwarves do? Dwarves dig into things. So you basically have a whole list of commands that you can see on the right hand side that are all different menus, but the very first thing we're going to start with doing is some designations. So basically we're going to do D for designate, and then you can see chop down trees is highlighted there, but you can push T to highlight if you want, if it wasn't already highlighted. And basically I can just come up here now and then select by pressing enter, and then using the arrow keys move across, and then come down and then press enter again, and all those little black trees now are going to be chopped down by my woodcutter. But you might say, which one of the guys is a woodcutter? Now that is where the utilities come in. So we'll bring up this utility called Dwarf Therapist, and you can see there it brings them up, and basically this allows a graphical way of managing all of your little guys to get them to do pretty much whatever it is you want them to do. But you can see here, if I follow down woodcutter, I have one person marked for woodcutter, and that is Rakust. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you what that person's name is, and that shows you the complete list of their skills there, and they're all 1-point skills. So he, she, how do I even know? I have no idea how I would even know, but that particular thing is a woodcutter, and that's his profession. And one of the things that you can do, you can go to options and change it, because something that's reasonably important, they never put these buttons where you would expect to see them. There you go, skill drawing method numbers, and that will actually show you how many points they each have. So he's a level 2 miner, and that person there is a level 1 woodcutter. So that's not actually all that good. That person is also a level 1 plant gatherer. I'm going to turn that off and hit commit changes, because what I want to do is have somebody else do my plant gathering for me, because now I'm going to, over the same area, tell them to gather plants. And I don't want the woodcutter having to do both, because that's just going to take forever, and that's just crazy. So the basic idea of this game is to make a self-sustaining dwarf fortress, but kind of gathering plants and gathering wood and things isn't going to really make you a fortress. So what you've got to do is you press the D key to go to mine, and then you pick out the area you want to mine. So there's a whole lot of underground water there, so that is probably a really useful place to build my fortress next to. So let's start here, and you press enter to designate again, and I'm going to do a nice long corridor and press enter. So now if I press spacebar, which resumes because it's currently paused, you'll see all the little guys run off doing their thing. So we have one guy up there who's chopping trees and one guy harvesting plants, and then down here we have our little miner, and he is digging away. And once he finishes, I'm going to pause it again, because now we're ready to give him his next instruction. So you can see basically everything sits there, and right in the center of the screen just there is my wagon, and that's basically what you come in. You come in a wagon, and your wagon has on it a whole lot of different provisions, and you can check your provisions by going to status and going to stocks. So you have menus for everything, and this really is a game for people who enjoy lots of management, lots of almost micromanagement. The thing though is you can't tell them directly what to do. What you do is you queue up orders for them, and they decide when they're good and ready which ones of those things they're going to do. So the less orders that you give a person, the more likely it is that they are going to do what you want. So now I'm going to mine out that little area, and I actually want to make it square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to make it a 5 by 5 area, and if I unpause the game again, he's going to dig all that out, and this is basically our little starting area. Because obviously being outdoors is a bad thing. Well, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but in the case of Dwarf Fortress it can be, because you'll eventually get attacked. And we press the U for the units key. If we go to others, you can see that there's currently a king snake. If I go to view creature, it tells you about it, and it is a poisonous snake which is quite dangerous. So if I go C, that shows me where the king snake is. It is just there underneath my X. And now if I use the scroll wheel on the mouse, I can zoom out and you can see that it is there, and then my people are, I think my people are right here in the middle. Yeah, that's that water area, so that must mean my people are, there they are. So my people are about where this X is now, and the king snake is not really too far away from them, so that is a most bad thing. So now I press F1, which is like the hotkey to take me straight back to where I want to go. So basically the sooner I can get my people indoors, the sooner they're going to be safe. So now that they have mined out that little area, I can press I, which is the designate key, and I want to designate this place, and you see I draw out a rectangle and press enter, and then what I want to designate it as, I designate this as M, which is the meeting area, and that basically means any person who's not doing anything. And up in the top right hand corner you can see here there are 4 idle people. They will basically all come inside here, and they will basically camp out inside where they're a little bit safer. But unfortunately horses need to graze on grass, so I need to designate them a special meeting area, which I'm going to do for lack of a better place right now. I'm just going to put them out here in front, and I'm going to designate that to be an N, a pen pasture, and then I can set the pen pasture information, and I can assign the 2 stray horses to go to that pasture. So now someone should grab them, and you can see they're being led, and that's going to put them in the pasture, and then hopefully all of the people should camp out inside. But now all my wagon and all my stuff is still outside, so that's obviously not ideal. So once again we're going to go back and we're going to mine. I'm going to mine out a bit of an area. No, let's not mine that area. Let's mine that area. Mine another one, and then let's do this as a, yeah, that's good. So we're going to start there, and we're going to do it as a 10 by 10, and then I'm going to designate that as a store place. And then basically once my little digger does his digging again, so you can see here he comes, once he finishes all of his digging, I'm going to designate that area as being my area where I want them to put all of my goods. And that will include, you can see in the center of the screen right now, there is a log. Well, hopefully you can see my cursor. If you can't see my cursor, well, this is going to be a bit frustrating. But yeah, you can see in the center of the cursor is a log, and you can see that they're now digging out the storage area. You can see that there's different kinds of things here. So here we have like sandy sort of stuff. Down here that they've started to dig out, we have white sand. Over here we have loamy sand. So lots of different kinds of sand, lots of different kinds of water, like shrubs and berry bushes and all these different kinds of things. And now basically what you need to do with this is you need to dig yourself out an area for your base, and then you need to dig downstairs, so you go to multiple different levels, and you need to build indoor farms, because dwarves do everything indoors, so there's no outdoor sort of stuff. And excuse me for a moment, I'll be back in a second. Okay, sorry about that, just had a phone call to take, so back to it now. So we've got a little miner guy here doing his thing and mining all this stuff. And the very next thing that I'm going to do is designate, like I said, a stockpile, and that's basically going to be a place where people collect everything. But you can see I already have lots of wood, and I already have lots of like seeds and berries and things just outside. So the very first thing I guess the very first stockpile that I'm going to designate is going to be I just pressed P for stockpile, and then I'm going to press W for wood, and I'm going to set myself up a bit of a wood stockpile out here, and I'm thinking that it's going to be from there to there. So it's not a very big stockpile, but hopefully it'll be enough to place a whole lot of these logs until I find a better place for them. So I'll press resume now, and you see all my little idle people are no longer idle, because they're going to run out and they're going to grab logs and they're going to stick them places. And what will happen is pretty quickly that stockpile will fill up. And so now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a T for custom stockpile, and I'm going to put everything in here. No corpses, no refuse, no stone. I want ammo, coins, bars, no gems, and no wood. So everything except for these couple, which I'm just happy to have laying on the ground for the moment. So I press C to say that it's a custom stockpile, and then lay that area out. So now what should happen is once they finish gathering that wood, they will come down there and they will put all of the other stuff in that particular stockpile. So they'll pick up all the seeds, plus they'll take all the stuff out of my wagon and they'll throw it all in there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to designate another wood stockpile, because I've just realized that one that I just made isn't big enough, and I'll put that there. And press spacebar to resume, and they'll basically just chuck all those logs on either of those stockpiles. So now my miner has once again finished, so we need to create something else for him to do. So what I'm going to do is come off that way and create a 30 by 3 big hallway, and the basic purpose of that giant hallway is going to be to have all my major kind of rooms and things coming off it. So I've got like a little meeting area. So if I press K now, you can see they come down. That is longland grass seeds, I believe. And here we have a dwarven rum barrel full of larch. I have no idea what this stuff is, but the game is just so detailed. They've just made up things for everything. It is just absolutely unbelievable how much effort has gone into making this game. And like I said, it's free, so the price is absolutely fantastic as well. So you can see now they're all running off to my little barrel, and you can see my little miner ran off then. And the reason that he ran off is because he's decided that it is more important to carry stuff than it is to mine. So the way you can fix that is you can pause it, you can go back to this little dwarf therapist thing here, and so he's my miner just there. So I can come over to him and say, stop hauling things. And now, even if things need to be carried, he'll just sit there and watch everybody else do it, because he's too important for that. And so in not too long, what I'm looking or intending to do is basically set things up so that I have a farm, and then I need to have a craft area so I can start to craft, barrels and crates and things out of wood that I can use to store my goods. Because basically at the moment they're just chucking them all on the floor, and while that works, you can only put one item per space of floor when you just chuck them on the floor. So once you have barrels and things like that, you actually have the ability to place more than one of an item of the same kind in one spot. So that's obviously ideal. And the next thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to build some stairs. So just here, I'm going to come off the edge here and mine out a little 3x3 area, and then I'm going to tell him to dig some stairs in that little 3x3 area. So there we go, he has now dug that out. So now I'm going to say once again designate, but this time instead of just doing mine, I'm going to do downward stairway, which is J. And that's my downward stairway, and now I can go down one level. So you can see up on the top right hand corner there's a little 1, which means I'm one level below what's considered 0 for ground. And so I'm going to go down, and you can see at the very bottom corner I'm on level 140. So even though I'm 1 level below ground, I'm 140 levels above the bottom of the map. So it's quite a large map, and you can see now I'll go down 1 and there's nothing there. And the reason for that is he hasn't actually built that stairway yet. But once he digs that stairway out, which shouldn't take too long, it shouldn't take too long. He must have gone off to get a drink or something like that. Oh, there he is. There he's digging away. So he's now done. So if I go 1 level down now, you can see that he's now exposed that area. So now I'm going to go dig, and I'm going to go dig a up-down stairway, which is I. And dig an up-down stairway there. And then I'm going to go down another level and keep doing the same thing. And I'm going to pause the video and come back once I've gone down about 5 or 6 levels. Back soon. Okay, I'm back. Turns out I got really lucky. As you can see the message at the bottom there, I've actually struck silver, but I've also, I think that's it just there, if I go K and then go to show you, I have also struck gold. So I've struck 2 very important materials very quickly, so I'm kind of extra lucky. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I need to have like a workshop kind of area where my dwarves can start to do some different crafting and start to actually do some different things to try and basically get themselves ready. So the way that you would do that is you go to B, and then you've got your little area, and so if you look down, it's about, actually, yeah, it's about sort of 2/3 of the way down, just here. There's a little thing called workshops with a short key of W. So if I press that, it then brings up all the different workshops that I can make. So the very first thing I want to do is build a carpenter's workshop, because I'm going to need to start making things out of that wood that I'm collecting. The next thing after that I'm going to need to do is build a mason's workshop, which lets me craft things out of stone. And then I'm going to build a craft dwarf's workshop, which will let me make other things out of stone. So you can make kind of basic things out of stone, and then you can make less basic things out of stone. So basically what I'm going to be kind of attempting to do is I'm going to be attempting to set myself up in the best way possible as quickly as possible, because what you need to be able to do quite quickly in this game if you get attacked is to basically seal yourself off from the outside world and basically set yourself up to be well defended. So the way that you would do that is you get your carpenter to make some traps, and you get your stonemason to make some rockfall traps, and you do all these different kinds of things, and basically each one of your little guys has a super important duty that they have to do. So I guess it's kind of, it can be a really complicated game, but it also has the ability to be a really fun game. And I know a lot of people out there don't like games that are mainly a keyboard interface, but it's one of those interfaces that really quickly becomes, I mean, the shortcut keys are quite obvious and you get used to them quite quickly, and once you're used to the shortcut keys, it actually becomes a lot faster to do that than it does to, I guess, do things with a mouse. So again, I'm probably going to finish up here. If you guys would be interested in seeing some more of this, let me know. I'm perfectly happy to record, I'll probably call it as an episode 0, which will just kind of go through and in more detail, tutorial style, describe the process of actually setting up a world and how to pick a good place. And I can also go on and do some more of this, call it, I guess, a bit of a let's play if you want, and kind of show you just how far my little dwarves can get before I end up killing them off, because it's inevitable, it's bound to happen. There's no end game to this. It's one of those things where if you do well, you do really well, but you still die in the end, because eventually the hordes get you. There's no real way to win. There's no end. You just play until you either get bored or you die. So yeah, like I said, if you guys would be interested, let me know. What I'm playing is called the Lazy Newb Pack. I'll put a link in the description. For those of you who think that this face is a bit clunky, the game looks a bit too hard, I'll also post a link to Ryan the Allmighty's Gnomoria videos. It is a game that is incredibly similar to this. I mean, you're using gnomes rather than dwarves, and there's some subtle differences, but it is almost the same game. And what that means for you is what you basically have is a mouse-driven modern isometric sort of interface to a game that is just like this. Now it's still currently an alpha, but it looks to be a really brilliant, really well polished game. So if you think you're a bit nervous about the whole keyboard interface, but you'd like to try out this kind of game, check out his video on Gnomoria, and also I'll probably post a link to where you can get the demo for Gnomoria, so you can check it out to see if you like it, and if you do, it's only about $10 as well, so it's really good value. But anyway, hope you like this, and again, post some comments if you'd like to see more. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Astocky out.